Hello, my YouTube family and fellow strength enthusiasts. So this video is going to catch you up on what I've been doing as far as training goes in Operation 265. I also have an exciting announcement to make, so stay tuned here in the intro to the video.
All right, I have my own shirts. Breaking records and crushing demons. I'm very happy and very proud with how the design came out and how these shirts are looking. I'm sure you've seen me wear them in a couple of my videos. It has a barbell going through a skull with the lettering breaking records and crushing demons. I have two different colors. I have black with a cream accent, and what you see here, cream with a black accent. So if you're interested, please go visit my website, tankstrengthcoaching.com. There, you'll be able to see that I have an option for coaching, a little bit about what my company, Tank Strength Coaching LLC, does, and you will also see the option for getting the shirts. Very, very proud of them, like I said, but I only have a limited number of them. Small, medium, large, XL, and double XL for the cream colored shirts, and medium to double XL for the black shirts. And I only have about 15 per size. So like I said, they're limited edition. I don't have a lot. So please order them now and reach out for coaching if you're interested. And now, on to the video. All right, Operation 265. I want to catch you guys up with what I've been doing, what my training has been looking like, some of the weights that I've been lifting, physique update kind of with the shirt off in a lot of these videos. Just so you can get a general idea of what I've been doing and, that have not gone MIA. First things first, we got a deadlift here. This is my RP9. It's really an RP10 single that I have here. To be completely honest, I have been going a little bit too, I've been overshooting my lifts too much recently, and as I'm sitting here making this video, I can feel the fatigue in my lower back because of it. No injuries, thankfully, knock on iron, but I just have to be a little bit more cognizant of what I'm lifting, and I lift like an athlete. Lift very, have to lift a little smarter and not as Jim Broe like. All right, 716 here. 716. Good brace. Squeeze and boom. It was a solid rep. With deadlift, because you don't have the eccentric phase, I do think I might have been able to squeeze out another one if I kind of went right back into it. But to be honest with you, that was probably around an RP 9.5, 10. All right, moving on. We got some sumo deadlifts. This is 505. Now this is relatively light for me, so this is just going to be more of a technique work. I did 3 heavy sets prior, an RP 7, 8, like you just saw, more like a 9.5, 10. And then I dropped it down for some sumo deadlifts, 505 for 3 sets of 3. Now, with the lighter weight, with the technique work, obviously you should be really focusing on the 1 or 2 cues that you have a hard time keeping while you're lifting, the technique aspect of it. But you also want to be moving with a purpose. You don't want to just go kind of lackadaisically move lightweight. You're not going to get anywhere with that. You want to try to move still with a purpose while keeping your proper technique. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. All right, the T-bar row. Now this apparatus is from Elite FTS. With the T-bar row, I'm okay with using a little bit of momentum because I do want to move some weight here, and I want that kind of to carry over to my deadlift. Obviously, not every movement that you do should be like this. Most of your movements you're doing, you really want to focus on control as you perform them, but some row movements and things like that help with the deadlift variation, I have found, and obviously my coach has found, that it's okay to use a little bit more of that explosive start out of the bottom. Moving on, we're going to safety bar squat, 2 sets of 5, 570. The bar here is about 65 pounds. Again, this is also from Elite FTS. I like the safety bar squat. We have a transformer bar at the gym. That's the Kabuki one. I like it, but the handles are a little too low, and what I like to do is I like to pinch my elbows in while I perform the safety bar squat and lift up slightly, like I'm lifting the pad back on my back a little bit more. and I find it a little bit more comfortable when I do that with the Elite FTS, not so much the Transformer bar. I'll use the Transformer bar if the weight's a little lighter or something like that, but the safety bar squat, the way it's holding on your back and everything like that, it's a little bit more akin to a front squat, or at least a very high bar squat, because the weight is shifted forward in front of you a little bit more. So my limiting factor on this movement isn't so much my legs. You can tell my legs are very strong here. It's actually my mid back, which while I'm filming this, I have gone a little too much on the RPE, and I'm experiencing a lot of fatigue in my mid back, and possibly because a little bit of the safety bar squat, just because that's targeting the mid back, and then the deadlifts I do later too, also going to put some more tension on that mid back. So obviously when you're programming and you're designing programs, you really have to be you have to pay attention to the RPE. You have to pay attention to how many reps left you have in the tank. You're going to get great gains if you stick between 6, 7, 8, and a true 9, unlike what I was doing, which is more around a 10, because you're going to still get a great stimulus, but not so much fatigue. All right, here's the second set. Now, under these knee sleeves, I have the wrap around my knee on my right knee. These knee sleeves, when I first got them, I think a year or two ago, they were very tight, and I would only wear them for just the squats, and then I would take them off. Now they're a little bit more loose. I have these Inzer knee sleeves, which are my tight knee sleeves. I probably won't ever really put those on until I start really working really heavy with squats. These knee sleeves, because they're a little more loose, they're still tight around the knee. They're just not crazy tight like the Inzers. I like that feeling around it, and I'll leave it on more throughout the duration of my workout. All right, and we're going to move on to some pause safety bar squats. Zeke-wise, I feel I'm still around that 253, 254 mark, but looking in the mirror, I feel like I look a lot bigger. So I must be losing some body fat and getting a little bit leaner while keeping a heavier body weight. So a little bit of recomp going, which I'm very happy about. All right, pause safety bar squats. 2 sets of 3. This is 540. Okay, take a big deep belly breath in the belt. See how I push up a little bit on that bar, and then boom, drive through. Nice solid pause on each and every rep. As you can tell, that when I get stuck a little bit or slow down in the middle of that lift, where I'm feeling it, you can see how my shoulders drop forward just slightly. That's because I'm feeling the fatigue in my mid back. It's not a problem. It's not nothing to be concerned about. It's just you have to realize what each exercise might do to someone, right? So if someone has a hard time keeping their chest up or their torso in a neutral position while squatting, safety bar squat might be the exact accessory movement they need in order to help them kind of create that tension and strengthen the mid back. Moving on here, we got weighted chin-ups, body weight. This is 135 for 3. Now, in the street lifting competition that I want to do, there's a couple rules that you can't do. Like, you can't kick. You can see there I kick a little bit. But you're also doing a pull-up off a higher bar. So I have to bend my legs there just because I'm too tall for the power rack. In order to keep them straight, I'm too tall to keep them straight. So I have to bend the legs a little bit. Later in the video, you're going to see I'm going to do this, the chin-ups again, but I'm going to go off a little bit of a higher power rack. The bar is a little bit higher, and I'm able to step off a platform, and then I'm able to keep the weights between my ankles and pinch my feet together. That is a lot more comfortable, a lot more stable. What I found out kind of during this whole process, this workout today, is that I like to I thought squeezing my glutes was going to help with my chin-ups. As I pull up, I squeeze my glutes. I tend to leave my legs kind of dangling in the air a little bit. What I like more is actually just really focusing on just pinching my legs together, pinching the plates together, and maybe even a slight contraction in my abs as I pull up on the, in my chin-up. squeezing the glutes would just kind of, it would just have me kick my feet a little bit more, and that is not, that would not pass me in a competition. As you can see here, I'm really just focusing. I have my abs squeezed slightly, and I'm really pinching my legs together, and you can see it's a lot more controlled than that 135 was. The last set for this workout of weighted chin-ups was body weight. Again, I'm probably around 255 in these videos, maybe a little heavier. So it was body weight and 147 and a half is what I eventually ended up finishing at for my 3 reps at an RP of 9. I prefer kind of lifting out of a rack. I like the safeties. I like the look of a rack too. Chin-ups, and you can do so much. You can do dips, you can do chin-ups, you can do squats, you can do bench press, you can incline press. You can do a wide variety of exercises out of a single rack if you have the bar, plates, a dip belt, and an adjustable bench. You know, obviously, if you're at a gym, you want to use part of the ease of the gym is that they have all these machines all pre-set up. But if I was at a home gym, the first couple investments I would make, and just real quick, you can see I'm pinching the legs there, keeping the tension on the abs, and a lot more controlled, feeling a lot better about my chin-ups. Anyways, back to what I was saying. If I were to have a home gym, obviously the most important things that I would get would be the weights, a lot of 45s, and a few change plates, a good power rack, a solid power rack with bars and a thick, sturdy adjustable bench, and you can do a ton of different workouts, a ton of different exercises with just that. You don't need a lot to get really freaky strong. Now the dumbbells, the machines, and all of that, that is extra. And you know, obviously, if you're working around an irritation or something like that, it's always beneficial to have more at your disposal. But if you're just good at training, you don't need a lot. Focusing on the basics is so vitally important. What we got here is a weighted dip. This is 225. I got 5 on that last one. It was a little bit nicer. I was able to step off that little platform I made with those rubber plates, and I was able to stabilize a little bit better. The last thing I realized that you want to really be doing with the street lifts is having your legs bent. You want to kind of keep those legs as straight as you can. It will allow you to control a little bit better and feels a little bit better. Then we're finishing up this workout with 6 sets of 6 at 300 pounds. Nice and controlled. I really wanted to squeeze in that bottom position, feel like I own that bottom position before I go back up. All right. All right, moving on to bench press. We got 510 for 1. Program called for 510 for 2, but only 1 was there in the tank that day. During this time, I had, I think, a sinus infection or something. So just about this workout, I was finally kind of getting over that. But there was about a week there where I definitely didn't feel as kind of that pop I usually like with my workouts. I will say now that I'm recording this in the future, I definitely got that back. Overall, as you can see there, I flared a little bit too early, lost the tension in my shoulders, causing my arms, my elbows to go out of position a little too early, and that's why it was a bit of a grind. The J pattern is important, but it's a smooth transition. That last rep you just saw with the 510, that was not a smooth transition. It was almost straight back instead of a gradual back and up at the same time. I did make up for it on the 6 sets of 3 with 410 here. I will say, as far as physique goes, I believe I said this earlier, but I feel like my muscles are a little bit more full, at least looking on camera. I feel like I have a little bit more of a pop to them. My body weight has been staying the same, about 253 to 255 in the morning, but I feel like I've been losing a little bit of body fat. I just feel like I look a bit leaner, and my strength has been going up too, so very, very happy about that. Neck flexion here, 77 pounds for 12 reps. The important thing, and I was watching a Jeff Nippard video about this on neck training, is that with this, the neck flexion, you really don't want your lats or your arms to be working. And I feel like in this video I had a little bit more, too much arms. But you really want to almost kind of push and pull those plates into your head. And that will allow you to have that tension on the neck. As far as the rep ranges for neck training, you should probably usually always keep them a little bit higher. There's never really a good reason to do sets below 10 reps on neck training. If anything, you would probably want most of your working neck training around 15 or more. Then we got some body weight pull-ups of trying to get very high up, body weight plus 45 pounds. And I did 10 sets of 3 with a 45-second rest in between. Felt pretty good. Now, this was 1 week since the beginning of the video. Sumo, this is 675 for 3. This felt really good. I felt locked in. I felt powerful. I'm spreading the floor. I got my hips in good position throughout the entire lift. Then I went to 705. So this is pound plate, so I added about 30 pounds to that. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be a good jump. I thought this was going to be the appropriate jump. But one, I probably didn't rest too long between hand, but the biggest thing, I probably should have just gone 695 instead of 705 because I only got 2. And after this deadlift, I think overall the fatigue I put on my mid-back really caught up to me after this deadlift, and it's probably taking about a week right now for it to kind of finally calm down. It's not an injury. It's not like my back is sore or anything like that. It's just weak. Like it's just not able to stabilize like it has in the past. And we're going to see that coming up with some of my squats. As you can see here, the platform has a divot into it. And I normally I don't really care about a divot, especially if you're doing conventional. The divots are not going to be a huge deal, especially if it's even side to side. But one side, actually my left side had a bigger divot into the platform than my right side. And for sumo and really trying to learn technique, it's usually best to lift off a pretty even ground. So if you're dealing with platforms with divots in it, try to find a position where you don't have a divot, or to be honest with you, if you can keep control and you have some rubber plates on, you might be able to deadlift off the floor. Depends on your gym owner and what they say. So see right there, you can see my hips rise before the bar leaves the ground. Second rep a little bit better. And what I would say is because my hips are rising a little bit more and going for the third, to be honest with you, I should not have pulled that third. I should have stopped at the 2, and this is really where my back got that most of that fatigue. In general, you probably always want to leave like 1 to half a rep left. You know, go from an RP 9 at most an RP 9.5 for your major compound lifts. Any more than that, it's kind of a, it's just you're adding so much more fatigue for the fatigue to stimulus ratio is just so not good, and it's not worth the trade-off. And then we got some deadlifts here, conventional, 3 sets of 3 with 515. Conventional felt good after the sumos, but I definitely still felt that fatigue in that mid-back area. All right, then we got some T-bar rows. As you can see, I sit back with the T-bar row. One, it allows me to lift the weight without toppling forward. But as far as the carryover to the deadlift, when you're pulling a heavy deadlift, sometimes it's a good cue to think about falling back. This way you can counterbalance that weight pulling you forward. Moving on to the next workout, weighted chin-ups. This is my set with 154 plus 2. And again, I'm weighing about probably 255 here. So some quick math. About 410 I'm doing chin-ups with for 2 reps. Maybe a little bit less if you don't count the weight of my upper body that's actually doing the work. But as far as my lower body, which is not adding really any benefit to the strength portion of that lift. You know, if you got bigger legs, obviously you got more weight to lift. But again, the goal here is to be freaky strong with all lifts. So I have big legs, going to help me for squats and deadlifts. Big upper body is going to help me with bench, chin-ups, dips, etc., etc. Here's a very nice set here. Best set I've done to date, 159 for 2 reps. Felt solid. As you can see there, I grab the bar back and then I step back onto the box, because in competition, after you complete your heavy rep, you have to step back onto the box. I believe, as far as my understanding, that those were 2 good clean reps. Chin looked like it was above the bar, wasn't really kicking all that much, so I felt like that was good. Then we got some weighted dips. This is the set I did. I did 2 sets with 200 for 5 reps. Then I got 1 set with 7 reps. I filmed the set with 7 reps. You can see on my Instagram, at Tank Strength. The reason I didn't put it on the YouTube channel was because there was a girl in there and she did not want to be shown. So I was able to crop it out with Instagram, but YouTube, I'll just show you guys the set with 5 reps. Dips feeling good. One good cue I learned from watching the video, you want to try to keep your legs straight, and then when you initiate the push, you're almost like, you kind of almost arch your back, or like, I like to think about pushing my legs down and arching my chest up. Overall, feeling really good with my street lifts, feeling really good with my squatting and deadlift, and bench is coming along. I really do believe with a proper deload and allow myself to recover a little bit more, I could have a nice bench PR. 230 overhead press, 10 sets of 1. So one of my other goals was just to overhead press 315 for at least 1 rep, but if I got multiple reps of 315, I'd be very happy. So nice and strict, squeeze my glutes, brace, press straight overhead. I am really liking these cluster sets that you can see with bench and overhead press, where instead of doing 3 sets of 6, I'm doing 6 sets of 3. All right, before I get back to those cluster sets, I did 2 sets of 2 with 485. Feeling really confident. The program called for 1 set of 3, and you're going to see what happened here, and you can see why I racked it afterwards. Setup was good, strength was good, the lift off, my self lift off was really good, able to keep my shoulders tucked the entire time that I was in that first rep, feeling really smooth, and then something happened with that bar, and you can see there on the clip, it kind of started slipping forward, and I lost my positioning with the wrist. I went right back under it, and then was able to press it up. So the fact that I was able to do that with 485, I was kind of impressed with myself. Obviously, I'm not too happy that happened, but that's why you have face savers. That's why you're paying attention while you lift. And if you don't have savers, make sure you're lifting with a spotter, right? And then the second set, I decided to get this girl to spot me. Nice and easy 2, but I knew 3 was going to be a really big struggle if I got it, so I decided not to go for that 3rd. So anyways, here is bench. This is 7 sets of 3 at 410, and what I was talking about earlier as far as the cluster sets, what this allows you to do is you're getting the same amount of volume in. You possibly could use a little bit heavier weight. Not even cluster sets, my bad. It's just having more sets and less reps. So you're going to use a weight that you could possibly do 3 sets of 5 to 7 with, but instead of doing 3 sets, you're doing 7 sets of 3, right? Or 5 sets of 3, whatever that weight is. And this will give you more first reps and will allow you to pay more attention per rep every single set. A lot of times you'll get to see people, they kind of get sloppy in the beginning of the reps, and then as soon as it gets hard around that 7, then they kind of focus. In this way, because you're doing more sets every single rep, you have to be really paying attention and really putting yourself in a very good position. That catches you guys up with the workouts that I've completed so far on Operation 265. If you're interested in buying a shirt, or you're interested into becoming your best self and you want to look for coaching, please visit tankstrengthcoaching.com.